Alright you guys, welcome back to another 5-minute drawing class with the Balding Artist. So last time we did this shading a sphere. Today we're going to, right now we're going to do shading a cube. So I'm going to draw really quick a cube here. Sorry if that sphere is distracting. I try to conserve paper whenever possible. As should you. Be aware of our environment. Go ahead and draw a cube. If you haven't watched the perspective videos that are kind of guiding this, go ahead and jump over and watch those if you're unsure, if you're not super confident in drawing a cube yet. Go ahead and watch those perspective videos. It'll really help explain kind of how you get a realistic cube form. But if you feel confident there, then go ahead and freehand a cube. At some point I'll put up like a little printable that you can just practice shading these things, but that might be a little bit. All right, so cubes are very different from spheres in the sense that we get hard lines. So where we have like a smooth gradient between areas, this one you'll have very sharp differences. So a couple things to be aware of. If the light's coming from this direction, the place the light is going to hit best is this top face. The second will be here, and darkest will be here. So you can go ahead and number those if you want. So if we're going with the darkest, go ahead and darken this in. I'll probably speed up this video. Here. Reflections generally happen in cubes depending on how shiny your cube is. You'll actually see the ground right here in your cube. So if it's a dark ground, then this bottom portion will be darker. If it's light, like I have it now, you can actually do this top half, this top 2/3 a little bit darker, and it'll give this nice kind of a shiny effect to this upper portion. This is going to be really rough. I would recommend blending a lot more than I'm doing right now, but for sake of time, I also don't want you to get too bogged down in the details, but you can see that subtle difference between this top part and that bottom part. It's going to give you a nice, you'll see when it's done, it'll kind of look like it's reflecting the ground. So if that's the darkest, then we have the next, which is right here. I'll go ahead and speed this up. All right, and then this top face is going to be our lightest because it's closest to the light is hitting it most directly. I generally don't leave it pure white though, and you'll see why here in a second, but it may just need one little pass. I like to leave the pure white for a couple of highlights. It's actually going to hit this edge, this transition, because it's round. This edge is going to get all of the areas from the whitest white down over to blend into these areas. So if you haven't watched the sphere video, go ahead and watch that, but it's going to inform you a little bit as to how this edge will act because it's a round surface. And the same thing is going to happen over here. Alright, I'm actually going to bump this edge a tiny bit too. This also helps you kind of define, like give a little bit of space between all of your edges so that people can understand the form a little bit better. All right. So hopefully you can see what I was talking about in the beginning with this area being a little bit lighter. You can see how it kind of looks like it's reflecting this ground portion a little bit. I'm going to darken this just a little bit more because I feel like it's a tiny bit light. It's kind of doesn't have as much definition as I'd like it to between that top face and this side. But you can see kind of the 1, 2, 3 step, right? You have the lightest, a little bit darker, and then the darkest over here. And of course, this could go a lot darker, and we could really push this a lot farther. All right, and that, my friends, is shading a cube. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please like and subscribe if you want to try and keep these videos free. And I look forward to being in another class with you soon. You got this.